Well, I am just so excited to be here. It is my first time in Lagos in Nigeria. Yes. So, and I must say it is really fantastic. It's been incredible just how I've been received from the time I landed yesterday to now. And who knows, I may be back if you want me to be back, right? And I may end up with some compound somewhere. Who knows? Anything is possible. But thank you so much, Matala, for inviting me. It is really an honor to be part of you, and I'm here to share various things, but most importantly to learn, because I believe I'm a teacher and I'm a learner. The day we stop learning, that's really the day we die, literally. So we have to remain green, because once you start becoming too ripe, you rot. That's what it is. So I'm going to share a few lessons, and I like telling stories. You know, the worst part of being the last speaker is that everybody has said what you wanted to say. So you got to be very creative. But I love telling stories because I believe that people learn from stories. People remember stories. So I use stories as analogies for the most part. And video camera, Mr. Camera, bear with me because I walk quite a bit. So tell me if I need to be on a spot, or can you follow me? You see, I don't like to be restricted. So that way you and I can connect. So I'm going to tell you a story. First of all, before I tell the story, here's what I want to ask. What is it with mother-in-law and daughter-in-law? What's going on in that relationship? Can you hear me? Yes. The people at the back cannot. Let me see if I can use the hand mic. The people at the back are... Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Is it better? There we go. Okay. So we will leave technology. We can live with it and we can live without it, right? So I'll just tuck it in here. Okay, so question. What is going on between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law? Anybody? Or maybe you don't have those kind of dynamics in this country. Do you have issues with mother-in-law and daughter-in-law? Let me ask the gentleman, what do you think the issue is?
I think issue of ownership. The mother feels I'm the owner of the son. The wife feels, oh, this is my husband now. The mother feels, oh, I nurtured him from onset and I've been the one with him. You can't just come and take him away.
So there's a man in the middle. Yes. So this is how the story goes. Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law had that kind of dynamic going on, okay? They didn't get along. So daughter-in-law went to her friend. You know, we all have the friends that we confide in. And she went to her friend and said, you know what, my friend? I have heard it up to here with this old woman. Because it doesn't matter what I try and do, in her eyes, I am never going to be good enough. So what is the point of even trying? So her friend, because they grew up together, they were in the same school, like some of the buddies you've been connecting with. Some of you have met, you know, you've had your friends from way back. So her friend says to her, you know what, my friend? I've known you forever, right? And I have heard you complain about this old woman for as long as, what, a couple of years now? But you know what? Unlike you, I'm going to do something about it. So I'm going to help you sort out your mother-in-law, basically. So she reached into her bag and took a bottle. Little some, we're going to call it that now, for the purpose of this meeting. She took out a bottle with something in it and said to her, here you go. This is what you're going to do. This works magic. It's like an antibiotic. But the key is, oh, here's what you got to do. You put it in her food 3 times a day, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we convene back here. So we can compare notes and you tell me how it has worked. So, but here's the thing. When you apply this little thing, you put it in her food every day. Don't skip the dose. You know how your doctors tell you when you're on medication, on antibiotic, don't skip the dose, that way it becomes effective. But then she says, here's the key. Make sure that when you're administering this little sum, you are the best daughter-in-law she's ever seen. Do all the things that she's always wanted you to do that you hate doing. Wash the curtains, do the floors, prepare her favorite whatever. Okay? So can you do that? Because this is the only way we can get rid of this woman. She says, okay, I can do that. So on Monday she starts. She does all the housework and she prepares mother-in-law her favorite breakfast, bacon and egg, and she put a little sum in her food and she gives it to her. Tuesday she does the same. Wednesday they sit down, they even start talking about the current affairs, what's going on the news, on television. Mother-in-law even gets to a point where she shares about herself. Tells her about herself, what she went through as a young woman, the challenges that she encountered, etc., etc. So for the first time in their lives, they actually start communicating like normal, civil individuals. So on Thursday, mother-in-law is part of the prayer meeting committee at church. Prayer warriors. Are there prayer warriors here? So she goes, she says to the women, you know what, women? I am starting to see something different about this young woman. Do you know maybe it's me? We all have our own issues, sisters. Please keep me lifted up in prayer. And the sisters say, oh, Sister so-and-so, we will keep you lifted in prayer. Hallelujah. So, D-Day Friday, right? Remember, it's been little some every day, yeah? So, on Friday, she goes to her friend. Now, it's time for comparing notes. What do you think she's saying to her friend? She's changed. Things are different. Some is working. She goes to her friend, she says, my friend, that old woman is not too bad after all. I've started to see something different. For the first time we sat down and we started talking and she told me where she grew up, the challenges that she went through. I'm starting to think that I'm starting to understand maybe why she behaves the way she does sometimes. Now that's stuff that we've been feeding her. Is there a way we can reverse it? Because I really wouldn't want to hurt her. Now her friend looked at her and says to her, well, what I gave you, your mother-in-law is probably the strongest or healthiest she's ever been. Because what I gave you were vitamins. But I wanted to teach you a lesson. What do you think was a lesson? What was the lesson? Yeah? Communicate, yes, but something else? Work on yourself. Here's a lesson. The change that you're wanting to see in somebody else has to start with you. You cannot do anything to change anyone else but you. Now, for us to be the winning women, the women that need to win, we've got to start with an introspection. All the situations, the challenges that we're looking at in our countries, in our communities, in our workplace, in our families have to start with us. Because when you change, here's the thing, always remember this. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. Okay? So you can only change you, and when you change, somebody else realizes and says, what's the point of me continuing this way? And the key thing with women as well, the reason we always have challenges with each other is I'm always going to say, oh, she thinks she's all that. Before you even get to know the person. And remember, ladies, for us to win, always remember that the 21st century is all about connections. Alone, you're not going to do it. Okay? But for you to connect to somebody else, you have got to be open to that. But you cannot go in and say, oh, did you see her? Did you see how she walked in like she thinks she's... You don't know this person. You haven't even given them the opportunity to tell you who they are. So it is very important. Now the question I want to talk, because I'm talking about this change, changing you first. How have you changed lately? Are you still the same as you were 6 months ago? Because if you are, you're not growing. You got to start saying, well, what can I do to be different in the next 6 months? Because sometimes, you know, many people live 1 year. When you get to 70 or 80, you've only lived 1 year, but multiplied it by 70. You don't want to be caught up in the same way, because you don't grow. So let me tell you, there's another, how many of you know koi fish? Beautiful fish, koi, right? Has beautiful colors. Now, for some of you who have it or seen it, we tend to take this beautiful fish and put it in little, what do you call them? Little tanks or maybe a little vase. And do you know the nature of a koi is not to be in a vase? Because koi fish, when you move it from a little vase and you put it in a little tank, it grows to fit that tank. When you take it out of that tank and you put it in a pond, it grows to fit the pond. If you put it in a river, then you're setting it free. Now, how many of you are in a little confined little space where you're feeling, I don't belong here? Because the one who created you know where you belong. So sometimes you've got to check the environment you're in. Are you a koi in a little pond? Because sooner or later you're going to feel restricted. And you are going to have to jump out. So you can actually realize the potential and the greatness that God has created in you or has given you. Because you already have, somebody said earlier on that you already have the greatness in you. You just need to unleash it. And environment plays a critical role in doing that. Not only that, but the people who you hang around with also have an impact in that. Do you know the saying that show me who you hang around with and I'll show you what? Who you are. Which means I don't need to spend time with you. All you got to show me are your friends. Then I will say, I wonder why. So you know, I said, oh, you don't know, but I don't do funny things like they do. No, but why are you with them? There must be something about you that attracts that type of person. So, and for the most times, we look at other people and say, I don't know why is that, including the man. So I don't know why I attract this type of useless man. An accountable woman would say, what is it about me? Because one would say, okay, where did you meet this guy? Oh, I met him in Abuja. Oh, okay. All right. And then you meet the second one. We all know we have friends or people like that, right? It's not you, right? So, and then you hear the person say, oh, no, but this one is from Johannesburg. Oh, gosh. And he did the same thing like the one from Abuja? Yeah, and then we start thinking, oh, poor girl, maybe they conspired, maybe they met somewhere. Then we sit again, we hear another story, similar story. Now we ask, where did this one come from? Oh, no, he's from Ghana. Oh, gosh. What are we supposed to say now? What is it about me that attracts this kind of person? Seriously, because once you start asking that question, then you are ready to deal with the answer and do something about the situation. But as long as you're still saying it's them, it's so and so, you are not going to come up with solutions, all right? And then you start saying, where do I meet them? You know, same as people who are in business. If you end up with the wrong business partners, you got to start asking those kind of questions so that you know now. You know, because I believe there's no failure. Every time you fail, you're only learning that that's not the way to go. Failure gives you an opportunity to learn something. But the only way you fail is when you fail to learn from your mistakes. So your mistakes are just an opportunity for you to learn. And I hope you get the lesson. Yeah? So, let me see. I have another point. I know I don't have enough time, right? You're going to tell me to stop very soon. So, in South Africa, we have, because I have about 4 points that I just want to throw out there. When people get ready to marry, they pay lobola. I don't know if you know. You guys have that? Dowry, yes. Yes. You pay that too? Okay. Men pay that. Say again? Yes, men have to pay that because we are the brides. Yes. Valuable, may I add. Okay? So we have the same thing. And so here's the story goes. The story goes, this young man wanted to go pay lobola. We call it lobola. It's a Zulu word for that, dowry. And he went to this king in a village and asked him and said, well, I would like your daughter's hand in marriage. And the king looked at him and said, I don't want your cows. I don't want your money either. But there's just one thing I need you to do for me to be convinced that you're man enough, really, to marry my daughter. So I have bulls in my craw. I just want you to grab one by its tail. Then I'll know that you're good enough. And this young man thinking, oh, okay, well, that sounds easy, right? I don't have to work for it. I don't have to have cows or anything. Okay. And then they had this whole celebration going on, almost like, think of a Spanish, you know, that Spanish bulls, whatever. What do they call it? Yes. So the village, all the people in the village came out on this day. They all sat around the kraal to come and observe this whole initiation. And the young man was placed in the middle of the kraal. So, and the king and his, people around. So he stands there getting ready to grab the bull by its tail. So he gets ready. Okay. The first bull gets released. He's getting ready. The bull comes charging towards him. He's actually looking at this and it has froth. It's really scary. So as it comes towards him, he's thinking, oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this. And then he steps aside and he lets it go. Rewind, let me go back. In fact, he was told there were 3 bulls. Okay, so the first one, he just let go because it was too big. So he's thinking in his mind, oh, I was told there were 3, so there must be what? 2 more. Okay, let me see. This one, the other one must be better. And then he's standing there. Okay, get ready. You know, when you get ready, fire, and then the other one comes through. It's bigger than the first one. Now he's saying the should haves, would haves. How many of us have said, oh, I should have, I could have, I would have, should have, oh, I don't know. It comes charging. There's no time to even think. And he doesn't even attempt anything. He lets it go. And he says, oh, okay, one last one. I mean, really now, no matter what. This one, it's mine. They let it come through. It's a tiny little one. Okay, almost like a calf. With tiny little legs, it comes walloping towards him. And he says, oh no, this one, I'm grabbing. And as it came close to him, he jumped on it, wanted to grab its tail. It had no tail. What is the lesson? Your opportunity comes once in life. And for the most part, here's the thing. It doesn't come looking the way you expect it to look. Okay? The first one that you let go and you're thinking it's so overwhelming, it's too much. Sometimes opportunities are dressed in overalls, looking like work, too much work, and we don't want anything to do with them. Because we're looking for a box that is in pink with ribbons and say, ta-da-da, I'm an opportunity. It doesn't come like that. Okay, so what opportunities have you missed or are you missing? Are you watching, are you looking at what is in front of you? Because some of them may not look like that. Sometimes you may need to do the lowest job ever. Well, you're thinking, who, me? Yes, because if you can be trusted with that, you can be trusted with much. So do wherever you are, and there's a reason, don't underestimate wherever you are. Because it's the foundation, it's the preparation. Sometimes we look at other people and say, oh, you know, how many of you sometimes you feel like you're taking 5 steps forward just to take 10 backwards? It's like, why? These people, everybody's going past me all the time. What is it with me, Lord? No, you are on your own journey. Stay the course. And it's not about the race. It's not about how quick you're going to get there. It's just being steady, one step at a time. I remember days when believe it or not, I used to run races. So I remember when I started, I thought, okay, 5 kilometers sounded like, oh my goodness, where am I going to start? It sounded like a long, long race. But with time, with preparation, with training, and doing the right things. Because what you do on a daily basis before the end of you on a daily basis will determine that one day. That one day. Because your preparation, somebody's watching you. And if you're consistent, that's the thing. Key is consistency. You cannot be this today, tomorrow you that. Tomorrow, people need to know and say, you speak to Matola, she is that. She is exactly what you need. So I will do the 5Ks. And then guess what? Because I'm stronger, I know my time is, let me wrap this story up. So, and then I'll do 10Ks. Because now you train more, right? It's most, then you get up extra earlier to go and run more and eat better and do all of that. Let me tell you, then I ended up doing 21 kilometers. That was not a child's play. I remember going around and now you're thinking, okay, 5Ks, okay, you still have something in you. You continue to go. 15, 18, I remember just feeling like my body cannot take me anymore. You know when you go up the hill, you're thinking, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And every time I looked at the hill, I would actually get exhausted. So I then decided, you know what? I'm going to focus on my steps. One step at a time. Just focus on that. Before long, you've gone over the hill. That's how life is. Sometimes it looks overwhelming when you look at the stumbling blocks and the hurdles ahead of you. Don't focus on the hurdles or the hill. One step at a time. Get the energy to come out of bed. Put on your favorite lipstick. It doesn't matter how hard it is. And put on your smile and just say it is well. One step at a time. Before long, God will shine the light on your legs, and then you don't need to figure it all out. Daily, one step at a time. Now, I would do that, and I'm thinking, okay, 3 more Ks to go. But I'm finished. Where your body aches in places you've never thought would ache. You're thinking, no, I can't do this. And then, you know what takes over when your body is exhausted? Your will. Your will, you don't know, something just takes over. And you say, you know what? I know I'm exhausted, but surely I can do this. As I climbed the other side of the things, you know what happened? People that were lining up with water and everything are starting to say, now, if you're exhausted, it doesn't matter how exhausted you are, when you see those people clapping, then you're thinking, I better not disappoint them. because they clearly believe in me. And for me to be here, they must understand that it took everything in me to get here. Now, those are the people you need in your corner. Now, who is holding your corner? Who is on that light, on that street with a glass of water and saying, you can do this? 3 more cases to go. Because you need those type of people. And those are the same people that will knock you upside down when you're being foolish. And they will give you tough love and say, you're better than that. The day you decide to clean up your act, you know where to find me. But right now, I'm not going to entertain your foolishness. We need those people. And that's what sisterhood is about. That's the only way that we can win as women, to have those type of people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
A bigger round of applause for Tumi Frasier. That was lovely. That was really, really great. Thank you so much. Okay, well, no, I'm not that bad. She's got books.
Okay, I wish we had more time to talk, because, you know, sometimes when we just talk about concepts, but for the most part, you got to ask, how do I do that, right? So that you walk away with something to go and apply. And I brought a couple of books with me, and actually I've written about 4 books. Some I've co-authored with the Deepak Chopras, the Jack Canfield in the US and all that. But these are the kind of books that get you to do things. So I have them out there, and I'll be happy to autograph them for you. And this one here also is the one, it's called Your Moment, because this is your moment, ladies. This is your moment. Now, how do you thrive and become the best that you can ever be in every area of your life? Okay, professionally, personally, and otherwise. And this one is in the midst of the storm. How many of us here have gone through a storm, or coming out of a storm, or have been, you know, if any of you haven't been, I'm just going to say live a little longer. Yeah? So this is when you... Kingdom principles for you to understand what to do when you're going through a storm. And I have my own testimony there and stuff. So they are out there. I'll be happy to sign them. But thank you so much.